Hey folks, Dwayne from Grandpa's Garage, little garage that could. Welcome back. We're going to continue with a little bit more work on the trunk lid fabrication. One of the things that's critical on doing something like this is geometry. I know we don't want to be doing any kind of math lesson or that sort of thing, which we're not doing, but one of the things that we do have to consider is, because we're reformatting, we'll call it, this trunk lid opening, there's some things that I have to take into consideration in order for the lid to open and close and function as it should. Now, one of the things that has happened here is this piece, which used to be on the very bottom of the existing original trunk lid, generally when it sat down in this lower section, it was positioned more upright like this. But now we're trying to get it to go down so that it can sit and match what contours we're working with here. So a couple things that have to happen. One of the things is this flange along the bottom is bent down too far. So now we need to bring it up more so that it's perpendicular to the inner lip here. Once we get that adjusted, then this panel here should sit and engage and be right down, whereas right now it's not cooperating in order to make that happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a crescent wrench, that's the word for it, and want to tweak that lip up to closer to a 90-degree setting so that we can get this to also sit down in the opening. I was kind of looking at it for a while and was wondering why it wasn't sitting down. Then I realized that there's this geometry that we have to consider. So let's go on here and we'll start tweaking it a bit. And like everything that I do, I generally like to sneak up on things. I don't like to rush it. It's easier to adjust things if you just do a little bit at a time. It may be tedious, but at the end of it, it's going to end up being more accurate. And a lot of times with this old metal, if you start pushing and pulling on it too much, it fatigues because it's, I don't know, the metallurgy is, well, it's pretty aged. You know, just like us, we don't bend like we used to. So just keep on working it in. Doesn't take much. And I can see this section that I've already done from the corner here over to here. It's getting closer to the 90-degree mark to this inner lip. So we'll carry on and we'll try and get this all to where it needs to be. Now this is the kind of thing that, as I say, it's kind of tedious. And for watching on the video, it's not super exciting, but it's a necessary step in this process. And what I'm trying to do here basically is see if it's going to be possible for me to work this so that we can still use this lower structure. It may not work out, but I think that if I'm patient enough, that it should work. It should work. So now, just by doing that 1/2 section already, this side, which is the right side for me, is moving the way it should be, and the left side is not, because I haven't touched it yet. So that means I'm going in the right direction. So I'm going to carry on. We'll do a little more there, and then let's see if we can get this thing dialed right in. The lower panel itself, I'm also going to have to do a little bit more work on. Notice a couple things. There's a couple little dents and that sort of thing from years of use, and I'm sure there's been some abuse in there as well. But let's carry on. And yes, I have not oiled my chair, and it's still kind of squeaky if I rotate on it. So I'll try not to rotate on it. So because I think the microphone here, it certainly picks up any sound that's in its proximity. So if I can do it without twisting too much, then we shouldn't have to listen to that squeak. Okay, let's test that out again and see if we're gaining on it, or if we're going to have to be forced to do something different. So the other thing I'm having to do, there's a inner flange on this structure that it's been hammered pretty hard and bent up, and so I'm going to try and straighten it out, and that'll also help with the geometry on this this trunklet section. This is the on this corner of the car is actually when I first got the car, or the body. It had been hammered pretty hard, and so a lot of ways it tweaked to a position where yeah, it's just creating lots of problems. So we'll try and straighten it all out, and get it to where it needs to be. All right. Just going to hang on for a second here. I want to just pause the video and I'll come right back. There we go. I neglected to put my fancy on air sign on, so figure I better do that. My wife has come. I think you've seen her in one or two of my videos in the past where she kind of came walking in and didn't realize that I was recording because I had no way of kind of notifying her that that's what I was doing. So okay, so that's coming along real good actually. So we're just going to carry on. Going to finish tweaking this edge. Now I'm seeing also in this structure there are some areas that are going to need some attention. This lip I may actually end up just replacing the whole thing. It's pretty soft. But for now, I just want to kind of get things going in the right direction. I want to be able to finish modifying these corners right here to accept the other trunk structure. So where my side rails will come in, I got to cut this corner back, square it off so that I can get the side rails mating up nice and snug, because I want everything to fit snug, but there will be tolerance given so that things can move up and down. So my thought is that I'll get this thing functioning the way it should, sitting where it should, and then I'll come back and I'll just pull this inner lip off and make up a whole new piece so that we have something solid there. And then there's of course a little bit of punkiness right here. Well, we can patch that up pretty nice. But for now, let's carry on with tweaking this a little bit. All right, let's do another try. That's it. There. That's just this corner. Okay, so now I'm just going to grab a marker here because I want to show you guys something, or folks, I should say. Anyways, music just stopped and I was wondering why, but so what I noticed is now that I've tweaked that bottom lip, this thing sits right down as it should. Now the only thing I have to do is I have to come in right around here, and I'm going to have to make a cut right about there. And then that will tweak, because this edge up here is actually up about 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch. So then that means it's not going to sit no matter how much you try and force it. So it's coming up here, cut it there. I can tweak that over. Once I got it tweaked over, we can tack it back together again. And I'll have to do pretty much the same on the other side. Try and keep everything very symmetrical while we're doing this. And we should be able to get things sitting down. There is a little bit more straightening I'm going to have to do on the left side. Yeah, it got hit pretty bad, so there's a lot of lumps and bumps in there that are preventing it from actually seating down where it needs to be seating. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit of time. We're going to cut this. We'll get that going down. The other side, I'm not going to cut right away, but what I'll do is just want to clean up and just take a closer look at the piece, because we got to get this thing to sit down nice, and you shouldn't have to rather force anything. It should just basically drop right in. If it's not dropping in, then you got to take a look at it and decide what you need to do next in order to make it so that it just drops in place. I can see something very quickly in this one corner. You get a radius that comes in here, and up here it's fairly, well, it's about a finger radius, but then as it comes down, it gets a lot looser. And on this other side, it's slightly deformed. So we're going to have to move that. I can see that there's some straightening that's going to be required on the whole thing. So I'm going to pick away at it. So I'll move my chair and I'll move my the camera so that we can you can watch what I'm doing. And yeah, we'll keep working away at it. Hang on. All right, so let's take a look at this. You see there was actually a crease right along there, That's where it was bent in pretty good. And now we're trying to move things here a little bit. I noticed that this inner flange is coming up away from the main skin, which because of the corrosion and just being bent badly, I suspect that a few of the tack welds, or spot welds rather, are letting go, which is again going to affect how this thing sits down. We can work a little bit more at some of this crease in that, and we'll get it back into position. And even this latch here looks almost like it's may need a little bit of straightening on there. And some of these finer details are the things that make a difference between a panel fitting properly or not fitting properly. So let's see if I can get this thing to go where I want it. Well, it'll go. It's just a matter of patience. So one thing you notice I'm using this old I-beam. I-beams are very, very straight. And when you're working on something like this, you want to try and keep a nice flat surface to work on. Occasionally, you have to use something that's not straight. But for getting something like this, I find that it's better to put it on top of a nice, straight, solid piece like this. You can really beat on that really hard, and it's not going to go anywhere. The anvil I've got is as well very handy. I just find the beam I probably migrate to a little more regularly. But anyways, all right. Let me now that I move that inner flange, let's take another look at it, see if it'll go. Well, definitely got to be doing some other straightening here. So I think we're going to work away at that. Now I just got to figure out the best way to do this so you can see what I'm doing. The joy of a small garage. And I hope that, well, you're probably not going to be able to see it perfectly, but you have to trust me on this one. So the other thing, when I'm working on top of the beam, if I'm trying to hammer something down and you can hear it pinging when you hit metal to metal, you can hear it. Hang on a second. You hear the higher pitch. That tells you you're right on there, and you don't want to really force it. Again, the same thing. Take your time. Don't go beating it like crazy, because that's not going to help you in the long run. It's just going to create more work for you Take your time. Take your time. You rush it, it just makes more work, and then people get frustrated because they rushed. So now, the other thing that I wanted to mention is that when you're working on something like this, and yeah, there's some spots in here that are a little bit punky, and over there, and you might ask yourself, like, why am I bothering with this piece? Um, well, I can tell you the main reason why I'm doing this. Get it straightened. What you end up with is a pattern, a very good pattern, an accurate pattern once you have it all lined up. So if you end up changing out some of this, well, you still got a good solid pattern that's going to seat on the opening properly. Um, it's a kind of a judgment call on whether you just replace the whole section, or try and work with what is there. So I wanted to try seeing if we could get this panel to fit in there and seat down properly. Um, Again, as I mentioned before, I may not be able to do that. I may end up having to do exactly that, is replace the whole section. I don't know. It's a judgment call, but I thought, well, if I can do it and if I can save it and make it work, then I guess it's just a matter of preference, really, more than anything. So let's just see what that thing is doing now. Yeah. Try it again. That's what it is right there. I'm just going to pause you guys for a moment. I want to get my profile gauge and just double check side to side how we're going. By eye, I can see that we're reasonably close, but let's see what's going on there. Well, one of the things I have a habit of doing seems like I put things in places that at the time they seemed like a great idea, and then when you go looking for something, you can't find it because it's in such a good spot. But anyways, we finally found it. So let's press that down and see where we're at here. There's not a whole lot of contour to that section, but let's see how it compares to the other side. There's our problem right there. So I'll show you. In this area right here, it's a fairly shallow radius, but when you come into this section, it's actually quite much more pronounced, and that's what's causing a problem for this thing to seat down. So it's a matter of figuring out where you got to adjust. So I'll show you here. When we put this gauge on, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. Now there's actually a lot of daylight showing through there, where on the other side it's seating perfectly. So again, this little area right in here is where I got to spend a little bit more time. Yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. The plans they made. Yeah, it's kind of a dilemma here. Just can't remember who sent me to. I think what we're going to do is we're going to actually make the cuts, as I had mentioned before. I showed you on the opposite side. I made a mark there. So I think in that, maybe what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut that piece, cut this piece, and then I can kind of shift things and see if I can accommodate that need. So we'll grab my grinder with a cutoff wheel, and we'll put on some safety equipment as per usual, and we'll see what happens. My body's aching. I seen lonely times when I could not find. I always thought that I'd see you. I turned towards the sun. Yeah. I think what we're going to do is I'm just going to take this microphone off and put it kind of out of the way while I'm cutting. It might be a little bit too loud otherwise for you guys. Well, it's fitting better. I'm going to have to look a little closer at it. And I think we're going to have to make a decision whether to continue with this piece or just to go ahead with a totally different piece altogether. The challenging part on this is that, again, it had been beat pretty good, and I think I've got it fairly close to where it should be. It is sitting down much better now, but when I look at the overall, there's going to be a lot of metal I'm going to have to replace. It's going to be a tough judgment call on this one. Well, I think I'm going to monkey around with it a little bit more and just see what I can come up with. But I think for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop the video, and if I get a better sense of what I'm going to be doing with it, I'll bring you back, and we'll carry on with doing some more video work, something that actually shows a lot of the stuff that goes on. This part of the process can be extremely tedious, and doesn't make for exciting content. So let's just I'd say let's call it, and we'll bring you back again soon. But anyways, for now, this is Dwayne from Grandpa's Garage. I want to thank you for continuing to show your support, to continue watching my videos, and I'd urge you again to like, share, and subscribe. Any kind of feedback I get is good. It helps me, sometimes I don't see something that's fairly obvious. So if somebody has a comment that might actually be very helpful to me, then, I'm open to that. So for now, again, Dwayne from Grandpa's Garage, the little garage that could, saying take care, and we'll talk again real soon. Bye for now.